He tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like
Hi all, welcome to this module, Problems in Topicity. On completion of this module, you will learn to illustrate the key topics in topicity, distinguish between homotopic, enantiotopic and diastereotopic ligands and phases, develop the skill of solving problems involving topicity. There are some tips and tricks to determine topicity in a molecule. The first one, if ligands can be exchanged by an axis of symmetry, then we can identify them as homotopic ligands. If the ligands can be exchanged by a plane of symmetry, then we can identify them as enantiotopic ligands. And if the ligands are exchanged by a center of symmetry or an alternating axis of symmetry, then we can identify them as enantiotopic ligands. If the ligands gets bisected by the plane, then we can identify them as diastereotopic ligands. Let us take this first problem. Consider the molecule below and the following structures A and B that are generated by replacing the hydrogens in red and blue with a generic atom X. How would you define the relationship between the hydrogens in the original molecule? So we are going to replace the hydrogens which are highlighted in red and blue with some ligand X. So when we do that, we get two molecules and we need to identify what is the relationship between these two molecules. But before that, we need to closely watch this particular molecule. And if we closely watch this particular molecule, we can see here that this molecule has a chiral center. Therefore, when a new chiral center is generated in the molecule, so when a new chiral center is generated here by replacing hydrogen with X and hydrogen with X, you can see that these two molecules are not mirror images of each other, but they are stereoisomers, and therefore we can identify them as a pair of diastereomers. So by replacing these two hydrogens, we get a pair of diastereomers. Therefore these two hydrogens should be diastereotopic. Now in this problem, what is the relationship between the hydrogens in blue and red in the molecule? And if we apply either symmetry condition or substitution condition, so if we replace this with X, we create a new chiral center over here, and therefore the molecule can exist as a pair of enantiomer. Therefore these two hydrogens are enantiotopic. Now let us try to understand what is a constitutional isomer. Now in this molecule, replacement of hydrogens at two different carbons can lead us to two isomers. So replacement of each hydrogen with X gives a different constitutional isomer. then the hydrogens are constitutionally heterotopic. They are in constitutionally heterotopic environments and will have different chemical shifts. They are non-equivalent under all circumstances. So the CH2 and the CH3 hydrogens are unrelated and they have different NMR absorptions. So we have studied in our lower class what is a constitutional isomer. So when the ligand is attached to different carbon atoms, say something like 1-chlorobutane and 2-chlorobutane, therefore they are called as constitutional isomers. So in such cases, so we identify the hydrogens as constitutionally heterotopic. Let us come back to this problem. So what is it? Predict the topicity. We need to predict the topicity of these two hydrogens over here. Now if we look into this molecule now, and if you draw a plane over here, okay, and this molecule has a plane of symmetry, so it can exist as a meso. It is optically inactive, and but what could be the relationship between the two hydrogens? If we replace these two hydrogen with a ligand, then naturally this carbon will become chiral, and the molecule will be it can exist as a pair of enantiomer, but still since it has a plane of symmetry, it would be optically inactive. Therefore the molecule is enantiotopic in nature. The hydrogens are enantiotopic in nature. Now in this case, what happens? We are replacing hydrogen with CH3, and we are actually removing this plane of symmetry by replacing the hydrogen with one CH3 group. Therefore they are non-superimposable. They can exist as a pair of non-superimposable mirror image, and it becomes optically active. So we can have a mirror image here, mirror image of this, and therefore it can be optically active. But initially it has a mirror plane, it is a meso. But once one of the hydrogen is removed and replaced with a ligand, it becomes a pair of enantiomer and it is optically active. Therefore these two hydrogens are enantiotopic in nature. Yes, you can see here. Now let us see some shortcut using symmetry elements and symmetry operation. Now in this molecule again we have a mirror plane for this molecule, and if we are going to replace this hydrogen with a ligand, the molecule is going to be enantiotopic. So it is going to give you a pair of enantiomer. So I have an enantiomer. So these two hydrogens are enantiotopic. So what I am using here is I am using a symmetry operation. So I am putting a plane of symmetry. Now let us take another molecule. Okay. Now in this case you can see this molecule has a C2 axis of symmetry. Okay, so we can have sorry, the line is moving in a different way. So let us say this is an axis. Okay, so if I rotate this molecule across this axis at 180 degree, so I end up with the same molecule. Therefore, these two hydrogens are homotopic in nature. So by applying simple symmetry conditions, we can identify whether a molecule is homotopic or anisotropy. So there are two options: either you do a substitution process or you apply the symmetry condition to identify. Let us take this molecule. So this molecule has a plane of symmetry over here. So this is a cis isomer. So we have a plane of symmetry. So therefore, so we have a plane of symmetry. So the two hydrogens, we have two hydrogens over here actually. So one over here and one over here. So let us identify it as HA and HB. Therefore, these two hydrogens are anisotropy. Now, in this molecule, we don't have a plane and we don't have a C2 axis. So even if we rotated a C2 axis, we are not going to get the identical image. So you don't have a no plane and no C2. So these two hydrogens, HA and HB, if they are replaced, we are going to end up with diastereomers. So the two hydrogens are diastereotopic. Now let us go into this molecule. Now this molecule, if you closely look into the molecule, you don't have a plane, but you can have a C2. So on rotation across C2 axis, you end up with the same molecule. Therefore, these two hydrogens are homotopic. Let us take this particular molecule again. This particular molecule has a C2 axis. So C2 axis rotating around 180 degree. Therefore, it has a C2. Therefore, the two hydrogens or the two methyl groups are homotopic in nature. Sorry. Now let us take this particular molecule. So give the topicity of the carbonyl phase. Is the circled methyl group is on the re or on the psi phase? Is the molecule is chiral or achiral? So topicity, when we say topicity, the molecule has a C2 axis, therefore it is homotopic. Say for example, if this is the circled methyl groups, if they say that, so they are asking whether the methyl group is on the re or in the psi phase. Since the molecule is since the groups are homotopic in nature, so the question of re or psi does not arises here. therefore it cannot be answered. And is the molecule is achiral, therefore it's here. Now, the term diastereotopic is also applied to identical group attached to the same end of an alkene moiety, which if replaced would generate. So if we try to replace the hydrogen with different atom or group, example deuterium, what would we get? So we will get two molecules, so it would generate. How are these molecules are related to each other? They are diastereomers. Okay, so they are diastereomers. So the CH2 groups of propene are diastereotopic, one being cis to the CH3 group and other being trans to the CH3 group, and replacement of one or the other with CH3 would generate cis or trans to butene. Therefore, these two hydrogens are diastereotopic in nature because they result in the formation of a diastereo. So these two protons are therefore diastereotopic. Let us take this molecule. So in this molecule, so when you rotate this molecule, you are going to end up with a different structure. So the structures are not same when you rotate the molecule around an axis. Therefore, a mirror plane exists, and the phase of this particular molecule is enantiotopic. So what is the phase of this molecule? It is enantiotopic. So one need to understand that when we try to identify the enantiotopic phases, we have to be a little bit careful. So enantiotopic phase. So when you have a carbonyl group to which two different groups are attached, then the phase of that carbonyl group becomes enantiotopic. Let us look into this molecule. So we have two hydrogens, HA and HB. So we are going to replace it with deuterium. We end up with a molecule. Then we are going to replace the other. And these structures are indistinguishable. You can see here. So these two structures are indistinguishable, and therefore HA and HB are homotopic in nature. Okay. Two hydrogens are homotopic if replacing either one in turn by another group gives two identical molecules. Homotopic hydrogens are indistinguishable in the NMR spectrum. They are completely equivalent to one another, and they have the same chemical shift. Let us take this particular molecule. So this molecule has a prochiral center, but it is achiral. And if we replace HA with deuterium and HB with deuterium, we end up with two molecules. And the relationship between these two molecules is that they are enantiomers, and therefore HA and HB are enantiotopic in nature. Now, two hydrogens in an achiral or meso compound that are equivalent because of a mirror plane are enantiotopic if replacing one of them with a different group leads to a chiral molecule. So these two are very important. So what we are doing here is a substitution criteria. What we are seeing here is a symmetry criteria, and what we are seeing here is the stereochemical outcome. Enantiotopic protons are equivalent in all respect except in chiral environment. They have the same NMR chemical shifts. This is a very important clue whenever we try to identify the topicity of hydrogen using NMR, and they have the same NMR chemical shift in achiral media. Chiral reagents, example enzymes, can distinguish between enantiotopic hydrogens. For two hydrogens to be enantiotopic, they do not have to be attached to the same carbon atom. If making one of the two different from the other removes a plane of symmetry, then they are enantiotopic. So when any of the hydrogens are removed, and if the plane of symmetry is removed in the molecule, then we can identify those hydrogens as enantiotopic in nature. Let us take this particular molecule. The carbon atom to which enantiotopic proton is attached is called a prochiral carbon or a prochiral center. Replacing one of the groups which are the same produces a chiral center. Now, let us take this particular molecule, and we are having this molecule in two different orientations, and we are trying to see how this nucleophile can attack this molecule and what happens when this nucleophile attacks this molecule. So this molecule, in this case, it undergoes a psi phase attack. Now what is a psi phase? As we have already discussed, a psi phase is identified using CIP rules. So we have to number the atoms. So this atomic number based on the priority of the atomic numbers, so it becomes 1, 2 and 3. So you move in an anti-clockwise direction, therefore it is a C phase. Similarly, when a nucleophile attacks this particular molecule, you end up with this molecule, and in the other case you have 1, 2 and 3. You have to give the priority, and the numbering goes in this direction, in the clockwise direction, therefore it is a Re phase. So again you end up with another molecule, an isomer. So the relationship between these two is they are a pair of enantiomers. So this can happen only in those molecules which have a Re and psi phase, and those molecules or those carbons to which two different functional groups are attached can have a Re and psi phase. If the two groups are similar, then you cannot have a Re or a psi phase. Now in this case we have a chiral carbon already here, so this is another prochiral carbon. So we are going to replace Ha and Hb with deuterium. We end up with a pair of isomers. But what is the relationship between these two isomers? They are diastereomers because they are not mirror image of each other. Therefore Ha and Hb are diastereotopic in nature. Again, I want to recall that you can easily identify a diastereotopic proton in a molecule if the protons are attached to a carbon which is attached to a chiral carbon. So that is a very simple step. So that can be a thumb rule. So if there is already a chiral carbon in the molecule, and if you are analyzing the protons attached to another carbon which is already attached to a chiral carbon, then you are likely to end up with a pair of diastereomers. So it is important to recognize when a CH2 group is diastereotopic and when it is not. Generally, if a molecule does not have a plane of symmetry which bisects the HCH angle of a CH2 group, then the CH2 group is diastereotopic. So this is a symmetry condition. The molecule should not have a plane of symmetry like how we have it in the case of enantiotopic. This means that any CH2 unit in a chiral molecule has diastereotopic hydrogen, and the following should be borne in mind. Achiral reagents can in principle distinguish between diastereotopic hydrogen, but this is not possible for a enantiotopic hydrogen. Diastereotopic hydrogens are non-equivalent, so they are distinguishable using an NMR spectrum, and they will appear at different chemical shift. If they are close to a stereogenic center, their signals are often well separated in the spectrum. The chemical shift difference usually diminishes with distance from a chiral center. So what is most important is, if you're like in the previous molecule, if your hydrogen is very close to a chiral center, then your chemical shift value will be possibly similar. If they are close to a stereogenic center but their signals are often well separated in the spectrum, the chemical shift difference usually diminishes with distance from the chiral center and might even become zero, but diastereotopic hydrogens are never equivalent. Because diastereotopic hydrogens have different chemical shifts, they can undergo a spin-spin coupling to each other. This is a spectrum of two molecules. So you can see here we have a hydrogen here, and again we have a hydrogen here. Okay, so now in this case, these two hydrogens, we are trying to identify the spectra, and you can see here that now this particular carbon is not chiral, and therefore these two hydrogens are by replacing this particular hydrogen, we are going to end up only with a pair of enantiomers. And you can see the spectrum. This is 2-amino 2-methyl 1-propanol. So 2-amino 2. So the hydrogens in 2-amino 2-methyl 1-propanol is enantiotopic in nature, because you don't see a difference in the spectrum of the hydrogens attached. You can see this particular spectrum corresponds to the methyl group, and we have the spectrum of hydrogens attached to oxygen and also nitrogen over here. Now in this case it's totally different. You can see here this is a chiral carbon, and we have HA and HB here, and you can see the spectrum of this HA and HB are separated. So you can see its spectrum is separated over here. So you can see the splitting over here. Therefore it is very evident that by using NMR spectra, you can differentiate between an enantiotopic and a diastereotopic hydrogen. Let us summarize. In this module, you had learned to identify topicity in molecules. You had learned to explain homotopic, enantiotopic, and diastereotopic ligands and phases. You have understood and learned to illustrate the substitution and addition criteria, and you had applied the principles of topicity in molecules, and you learned how to identify the topicity in a molecule, whether the hydrogens or ligands in a molecule is homotopic, heterotopic, or enantiotopic, or diastereotopic. And also you have learned how to identify a homotopic and an enantiotopic phase. Thank you very much, and God bless.